Welcome to Urick, Nasadua, daughter of Ajihad. Welcome to this, my home, neath these ancient piled rocks. Long has it been since a guest as distinguished as yourself has graced us with their presence. My energies have been occupied elsewhere, but I assure you, from now on, I shall not neglect my duties as host. You are younger than I expected. I knew you had but recently come of age, but still, you're no more than a child. Most seem as children to me these days, prancing, preening, foolhardy children who know not what is best for them. Children who need the guidance of those who are older and wiser. Would you rather the elves ruled over us? I'm the only one of our race who can hold them at bay, and by their reckoning, even our oldest graybeards would be considered untested youths, unfit for the responsibilities of adulthood. By their reckoning, so would you. But I contain more than my share of years. The memories of hundreds are mine, life piled on life, loves, hates, battles, victories, defeats, lessons learned, mistakes made, all lie within my mind, whispering their wisdom into my ears. I remember eons in the whole of recorded history. There's never been one such as I, not even among the elves. Do not think to pretend with me, Nasadua. I know that Glader gave his heart of hearts to Aragon and Saphira, and that he is there with the Varden even now. You understand whereof I speak. Before we proceed, you should know something of the history of this place. When the elves first ventured into this part of the world, they discovered a crevice buried deep within the escarpment that looms over the plains hereabout. The escarpment they prized as defense against the attacks of the dragons, but the crevice they prized for an entirely different reason. By happenstance, they discovered that the vapors rising out of the crack in the stone increased the chances that those who slept near it might catch a glimpse, if however confused, of future events. So, over 2,500 years ago, the elves built this room atop the fissure, and an oracle came to live here for many hundreds of years, even after the elves abandoned the rest of Illyria. She sat where you now lie, and she whiled away the centuries dreaming of all that had been and all that might be. In time, the air lost its potency, and the oracle and her attendants departed. Who she was and where she went, no one can say for sure. She had no other name than the title Soothsayer, and certain stories led me to believe that she was neither elf nor dwarf, but something else entirely. Be that as it may, during her residency, this chamber came to be called, as you might expect, the Hall of the Soothsayer, and so it is today. Only now you are the Soothsayer, Nasadua, daughter of Ajihad. This is a place for truths to be told and heard. I will tolerate no lies within these walls, not even the simplest of falsehoods. Whosoever rests upon that hard block of stone becomes the latest soothsayer. And though many have found that role difficult to accept, in the end, none have refused. You will be no different. I know this will be painful for you, Nasadua. Painful beyond belief. You have to unmake yourself before your pride will allow you to submit. In all the world, nothing is harder than changing one's own self. I understand this, for I have reshaped myself on more than one occasion. However, I will be here to hold your hand and help you through this transition. You need not take the journey alone, and you may console yourself with the knowledge that I will never lie to you. None of us shall, not within this room. Doubt me if you wish, but in time you will come to believe me. I consider this a hallowed place, and I would no more desecrate the idea it represents than cut off my own hand. You may ask whatever you want, and I promise you, Nasadua, daughter of Ajihad, that we shall answer truthfully. As king of these lands, I give you my sworn word. You misunderstand. I didn't have you brought here because I seek information. There's nothing you could say that I don't already know. The number and disposition of your troops, the state of your provisions, the locations of your supply trains, the manner in which you plan to lay siege to this citadel, Aragon and Saphira's duties, habits, and abilities, the Douth dart you acquired in Bellatona, even the powers of the witch-child, Elva, whom you've kept by your side until but recently. All this I know, and more. Shall I quote the figures to you? No? Well then, my spies are more numerous and more highly placed than you can imagine, and I have other means of gathering intelligence withal. You have no secrets from me, Nasadua. None whatsoever. Therefore, it is pointless to insist upon holding your tongue. Why did I have you brought here? Because, my dear, you have the gift of command, and that is far deadlier than any spell. Aragon is no threat to me, nor the elves, but you are dangerous in a way they are not. Without you, the Varn would be like a blinded bull. They will snort and rage, and they'll charge straight ahead, heedless of what lies in their way. Then I will catch them and, with their folly, destroy them. But the destruction of the Varn is not the reason I had you abducted. No. You are here because you have proven yourself worthy of my attention. You're fierce, tenacious, ambitious, and intelligent, the very qualities I prize most in my servants. I wish to have you by my side, Nasadua, as my foremost adviser, and as the general of my army, as I move to implement the final stages of the great plan I have been laboring on for nigh a century. A new order is about to descend on Alagasia, and I would have you be part of it. Ever since the last of the 13 died, I've searched for those who are fit to take their place. Until recently, my efforts have been in vain. Durza was a useful tool, but being a shade, he had certain limitations. a lack of concern for his own preservation, to name but one. Of all the candidates I have examined, Murtagh was the first I considered eligible, and the first to survive the tests I set before him. You shall be the next, I'm sure, and Aragon the third. Should you live, you shall have a chance to accomplish more than you ever could with the Varden. Think of it! In my service you could bring peace to the whole of Alagasia, and you would be my chief architect for accomplishing these changes. You have defeated an opponent in the trial of the Long Knives, and with more cuts than any have endured in recent memory. That means both that you are exceptionally strong-willed, and that you are able to suspend the functioning of your imagination. For it is an overactive imagination that turns men into cowards, not a surfeit of fear, as most believe. However, neither of these traits will help you now. On the contrary, they are a hindrance. Everyone has a limit, whether physical or mental. The only question is how long it takes to reach that point. And you will reach it, I promise you. Your strength may delay the moment, but it cannot avert it. Nor will your wards avail you while you're within my power. Why then should you suffer needlessly? No one questions your courage. You've already demonstrated it to all the world. Give in now. There is no shame in accepting the inevitable. To continue would be to subject yourself to an array of torments for no other reason but to appease your sense of duty. Let your duty be appeased now, and give me your oath of fealty in the ancient language, and ere the hour is out you will have a dozen servants to command, robes of silk and damask to wear, a set of chambers to live in, and a place at my table when we dine. Oh, very well, as you wish. Murtagh, come, show yourself. You're being impolite to our guest. Murtagh was somewhat reluctant when he first entered my service, but he has since proven to be a most apt student. He has his father's talents. Isn't that so? Well, he surprised me when he killed old King Hrothgar on the Burning Plains. I didn't expect him to turn on his former friends with such eagerness, but then our Murtagh is full of rage and bloodlust, he is. He would tear out the throat of a cull with his bare hands if I gave him the chance. And I have. Nothing pleases you so much as killing now, does it? Murtagh Kingkiller. 'Tis a fine name, a name fit for legend, but not one you should seek to earn again, except at my direction. Until now I've neglected his instruction in the subtle arts of persuasion, which is why I brought him here with me today. He has some experience as the object of such arts, but never as the practitioner, and it's high time he learns to master them. And what better way to learn than here, with you? It was Murtagh, after all, who convinced me that you were worthy of joining my newest generation of disciples. Take up an iron. Well, there will be time for that later, if need be. For now, I'm curious to discover how brave you really are, Nasadua, daughter of Ajihad. Besides, I would prefer not to seize control of your mind and force you to swear fealty to me. Instead, I want you to make this decision of your own free will, and while still in possession of your faculties, because it pleases me. Now, for the last time, will you submit? So be it. Murtagh.